Expressions are a way for you to link the behavior of something with something else. For example, in this situation, we're going to link a null object with this picture, and we're going to make an expression that tells the picture to react in a certain way based on what we do to the null object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just focus real fast down here to show you what we're going to do. This is the picture, and feel free to use any image you have, anything at all. And with this picture, we're going to take one of the properties, and you can choose whatever property you want, but in this case, I'm going to choose the rotation property. So I'm going to hit R. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a null object, and the null object's position on our comp is going to make this rotate when we move the null. So let's go ahead and make sure we have our composition panel selected. And we're going to go to Layer, New, and we're going to choose Null Object. Now you might be wondering why it said to click here first. That's because if we're on the project panel, for example, you'll notice that we can't access any of these features. So we have to click on this panel to be able to go and create a new object to work with that comp. So here's our null object, and this is going to be the controller object that's going to affect the rotation. So the object is, we're going to move the null like this, and the picture is going to rotate, or you can make it fade away. So let's go ahead and do this now. You notice that we have our timeline, and we also have our property, and we also have our stopwatch. Well, typically when you click on the stopwatch, all you're going to do is enable the animation. But we're going to alt click on the stopwatch, and you'll notice that we have red text here. And you also see that we have refresh disabled. So it's going to tell us to finish editing our text to refresh our view. So what I'm going to do is just ignore that for now. And we're going to twirl this open. And the null is what we're going to use to affect the rotation. So we're going to hit P for the null. So how are we going to link these two properties together? How do I get this expression, rotation, to be linked to this guy here? Well, you'll notice that when we alt-clicked on the stopwatch, we have a pick whip that appears. We can click on the pick whip and drag it to the property position under the null. So hopefully, if this works, we should be able to grab our null and make sure I'm on the null layer. And I'm going to move the null. And you notice the image is rotating. And this is an example of an expression. This can simplify complicated animations. For example, the hands of a clock, or anything that has to be connected to something else. So instead of animating everything, you can animate one or two things and have a whole chain of events occur. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo a couple times. And I'm going to change the null position, and I'm going to link the position this time to the opacity of this layer. So I'll hit T on my keyboard, and once again we're going to alt click on the stopwatch, and this time we're going to drag the pick whip back to the position again, and when we click on the null and we move it, the image should fade away. So I'll move it over here. And there you go. So that's a basic look at expressions. They can be rather complicated, so this was just a quick teaser as to how you build them. The rule of thumb is, think about what you want to achieve first. For example, I want this picture to rotate, or I want this picture to turn invisible. Then create your controlling object, such as your null. Then alt-click on the stopwatch of the thing you're trying to affect and link it with the pick whip to the null or the controller. And that is how you can build simple expressions.